I had intended to show all of our meals for this week, breakfast and lunch and dinners, but things sometimes don't go as planned. And I wasn't going to film this, but decided there was a lesson in it, so I'm gonna go ahead. Pappy is enjoying our buffalo chicken breast and ham in his lunches at work this week. And I've been down with some sort of stomach thing. So I'm having pantry staples. I'm having chicken noodle soup, crackers, tea, and today, feeling better, I may even try one of the cookies that I had purchased at Aldi this week for something sweet and indulgent, even though we've been trying to eat better this week. So, always have things put away in your pantry for emergencies. Set back a little money every week and just keep some canned goods on hand for when things go wrong. Getting ready to make orange chicken with some Asian style vegetables and easy jasmine rice, and I'm noticing that these are already in a nice sauce. So I may just end up adding a little bit of the juice of the orange and some other ingredients just to add to it a little bit. And I'm gonna coat our chicken in cornstarch so it makes it nice and sticky. The sauce will stick to it better that way. We've got our veggies sizzling away and our sauce packet thawing out. I'm getting ready to put some cornstarch in with the chicken, and I'm just gonna do a one pan meal. I'm not taking things out, putting them back in the pan. This is just gonna be a quick and easy, and I'm going to microwave the rice. And there are more economical rice options at Aldi for sure, and you can get a really big bag for cheap, but I just wanted a little bit of rice. We don't eat a lot of rice, and this is making for a really quick supper. Going to juice this big orange, waiting to see how much juice I get from it. Well, it looks like plenty of juice to me. Here's my chicken coated in cornstarch, and I'm gonna add my garlic and ginger. I've decided I don't need the soy sauce because there was plenty of sodium content in the vegetables. So I'm just going to stick with the sauce that's there and the orange juice and thicken it up with some more cornstarch if I have to. I'm going to strain my orange juice in case there were any seeds. It's a seedless orange, but you never know. We don't want pulp either, really. And then I'll add more cornstarch if I think it needs to be thicker. This probably wouldn't have hurt, but I'm not a fan of pulp and orange juice. We have our sauce added, our chicken. Just got to pour the juice in. Now we'll simmer this until everything's done and thicken it as necessary. Microwave our rice. I plan to save some of this rice for another dish. Now that it's cooked, I'm not sure there'll be enough in there to do this, but I'm gonna try. I did 2/3 cup, a little bit heaping for Pappy, and a 1/3 cup for me. And I think I have just enough left for the other dish I'd like to make with it. And I think I'll just put it in this container and store it in the freezer and get it out. I'm going to use it in a meat filling, so I think this is going to be fine. Here's our orange chicken and jasmine rice. Mine and Pappy's. And it looks like it has lots of baby corns and water chestnuts. And that's Pappy's favorite. Looks good. I'm here in the kitchen doing something else, realizing coleslaw tastes a lot better if you make it ahead of time. So I'm going to whip up a really quick coleslaw dressing to go with dinner and let it sit in the fridge. For our quick coleslaw dressing, I have about a half a cup of mayo, a quarter cup of Greek yogurt. You could use sour cream, about a quarter cup of fresh chopped dill. You could use a couple teaspoons of just dried dill, salt and pepper to taste, about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, a tablespoon of sugar. We're gonna mix this all together, put our coleslaw mix in. This would also make a good dressing for a cucumber onion salad. Got the coleslaw all mixed up, and I'll set it in the fridge for a while so it can get juicy and delicious. If you don't have lemon juice, you can substitute vinegar. Today we're having salmon patties, oven fries, and coleslaw. Coleslaw's already done and in the refrigerator waiting. And I have my ingredients here. And I got that at Aldi, and then I found that I already had some, so I'm going to be using the closer dated salmon today, and the big 8 pounds potatoes for the oven fries. I found some parsley for some herbs, or I could use some dried dill. I used dehydrated onion for this. I always have. It was the recipe I followed, and that's what we like. And then a round Ritz style cracker is going to go into the salmon patty mixture too. I let the juice in the salmon rehydrate the dehydrated onion. And I'm preheating my oven to 400 and starting on my potatoes because they'll take the longest. I have the potatoes all sliced and diced up or chunked for the oven fries, and I'm gonna make French fry style for tonight with the salmon patties and coleslaw. And then since I'm already doing potatoes in the oven, I thought some savory herb with garlic potatoes would go good with the side dish for one of the meals I'm going to be making in a day or two. So gonna get them done now, and then when I go to make the chicken that they're gonna go with, I'll just slide them right in with it and crisp them up, heat them up. I'm gonna spray my potatoes with some avocado oil spray, and then mix in the seasoning on the one side. If you missed my other potato side dish video, I'll throw a card up in the corner. I'm not going to use the whole packet, so I'm going to save what's left for next time in the baggie so it doesn't go stale or get clumpy from moisture. We have our salmon patties frying, and our timer just went off for our oven fries. So we'll be getting ready to take them out, and I'll get the coleslaw ready out of the fridge. And here's supper. We have salmon patties with coleslaw that's been hanging out in the fridge for a day, and oven fries, and then we have Pappy's. If your family doesn't like salmon, you could do tuna. If they don't like seafood, this would also be good with canned chicken. Just make a canned chicken patty, maybe add some cheddar cheese or something like that. Pappy has a salmon patty, some fries, and coleslaw left over for lunch. And we have our herb and garlic potatoes for another supper side. Today I'm meal prepping 2 similar dishes. An Italian stuffed pepper meal And to use up some of the garden zucchini, I'm going to do some zucchini pizza boats. And I'll just keep one in the fridge or the freezer to heat up at another time. We're going to use the tomato sauce that I got at Aldi. If you remember the knockoff Wendy's chili episode, I had prepped some extra ground beef I had gotten for a really good price, and this is from that. And then we have the rice that I put in the freezer, my last video, and the last 2 peppers, onion, some leftover cheese, seasonings, and a little pack of goodies that we had taken camping and did not use to make mountain pies: pepperoni, pizza sauce, and some mozzarella cheese. Some seasonings that I had dehydrated from last year's oregano crop, and some zucchini that are starting to look like they really need to be used, so this will be good to use those up. I cleaned and cut my peppers on the side so they lay on their sides, and sprayed my dish with olive oil spray. Put them in there, and then in here I have half of that ground beef, a half of an onion, and the rice that I saved. If you remember, I saved a little bit in a container. Seasonings. We used some Trader Joe's seasoning blend, an Italian herb grinder, and the garlic, sea salt, parsley, an onion grinder. Gonna mix this up and stuff the peppers. Almost forgot, also have to add an egg to this mixture. I have the meat mixture and the peppers, and I poured about a half a jar of that sauce over top, and I'm going to cover them with foil, and then I'm going to wait until I have the zucchini done and just shove them all in the oven at the same time. And towards the end of the cooking time for these, I'll probably top with some sort of cheese. In the bowl to stuff the pizza zucchini boats, I have the other half of the ground beef, oregano, the other half of the onion, some pepperoni slices that I chopped up, and I'm going to also put some pizza sauce I had frozen in there to make it a nice moist and more flavorful mixture. I cut my zucchini in half long ways and took out a lot of the seeds and left a little cavity to stuff. Zucchini is stuffed and the sauce is poured over. Now I'm going to cover this with foil too and slide it into the oven with the stuffed peppers. Here are our stuffed peppers out of the oven, topped with mozzarella the last few minutes. And then we have our zucchini boats, pizza zucchini boats. And I use 2 different kinds of cheese. Today I'm making Parmesan and crusted chicken. And we need the chicken breasts that I had prepared and put in the freezer, thawed, some mayonnaise, Parmesan cheese, seasonings, and I sprayed the casserole dish. And in the bowl we have half a cup of mayonnaise and some garlic powder. We're going to mix that around. You want to preheat your oven to 425. And you want to slather your mayonnaise and garlic powder mixture onto your seasoned chicken breasts. Now we're going to sprinkle with Parmesan cheese. Bake for about 25 minutes, and when I'm pretty sure the chicken's getting done, I'm going to either add my potatoes that I made the other day in, or put them in a separate pan and slide them in. That should work fine at 425. Here's our Parmesan crusted chicken. Here's supper tonight: Parmesan and crusted chicken, garlic herb, roasted potatoes, and some cucumbers and ranch. And Pappy has the same stuff. And here's what we have left over. Mostly produce that I was going to consume but couldn't because of my belly pain. Don't forget to subscribe. There are 2 new videos coming to help you with summertime in the kitchen.